First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakal Kadash. That's all praises who the war calls God, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem, and in the name of Yahweh Shai, being the name of the only begotten Son. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect preaching word in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona Camp Lowell with another video to edify. And I'm going to play a little bit of this video. You can't tell me that the so-called Latinos, the so-called Hispanics aren't of the children of Israel. With this information coming out, you know what's happening. Now, these two men have worked in the U.S. government. They've seen these things to where they can speak on it. And you devils got a lot of fucking shit to pay for. Very much to pay for. Right? I'm gonna play this.
Federal indictment was unsealed recently that shows hundreds of migrants from Central America are being smuggled into the U.S. and forced to work as slave labor in Georgia and other parts of the country. Farron Cousins from Trial Lawyer Magazine joined me now to talk about it. Farron, there's all this discussion about the border. Two parts of the discussion that the media won't touch. I don't know why they won't touch it, whether it's a political volleyball or what it is, political hot potato. They won't talk about that these kids are being sex trafficked. Okay, we know that. Yep. We're handling sex trafficking cases. We know firsthand what's happened. Media's not talking about it. But this is absolute 2021 slavery, not just in Georgia, but they were finally caught in Georgia. Pick it up.
Right. This was an organized crime ring of what they uncovered just in the state of Georgia. They're bringing these people across the border, of course, illegally. Once they get here, they take all their documentation, much like they do with sex trafficking victims. They force them into these conditions, into these, big giant warehouses almost, and they say, listen, you work for us now. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. We have your documentation. Go out there, start picking the onions. And for every basket of onions you bring back, we'll give you 15 cents. And that is essentially how this scam works. So these people have no way out. And it's not even like they can go to authorities to say something because they've been brought into the country illegally and there's no way out.
It is nauseating to me because the narrative that the corporate media wants you to believe is this is all out of compassion. We're bringing these people across the border out of pure compassion. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and business.
See, these devils consistently oppressing the Israelites, man. Right? And for you, black only Hebrews, right? They try to act like the so-called Latinos aren't part of the 12 tribes of Israel. What do you got to say to this? Right? This is evident, man. This is go to Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50 and 33 says, "Thus say Yahweh, the children of Judah, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go." And this is obviously the same thing that's happening now. These people are under the curses. And who's the one consistently putting them under the curses? The Edomites. Slip of the tongue, The Edomites are putting these Israelites under them curses, man. So at the end of the day, you devils got a lot to pay for this, man. Right? This stuff doesn't go unrecognized by the Heavenly Father, man. Remember, the scriptures tell you that they said, get this. Salakia. This is Zechariah 11 and 4. It says, thus say Yahweh power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And Esau does this on a grand scale, man. They consistently just beat down Israel. And that's exactly what Esau does, man. He consistently oppresses the Israelites, right? You know, he slays us, and then he holds himself not guilty. It says, and they that sell them say, right? And then aren't they doing this to the so-called Latinos over there on the southern border? Bringing these people in the country, taking their documents away, selling their children into sex trafficking, right? And these men bring it out in this report. And then after that, the ones that are strong enough to work, they take their documents and put them to work and don't let them leave a facility because they don't have any papers, because they took them from them, and they just work their asses for however long they want to work them. And when you go even further into this report, they were giving them contaminated water to drink, you know, shitty ass food, poor living conditions. You know, these devils are wicked as all hell, man. It says, they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich. And this is exactly what Esau does, because he's been able to prosper and put Jake into slavery in 2021 to get free labor to still sit here and have nothing but all profit, because you don't have to pay nobody, because what he's you know, using his neighbor's service, right? That's what the scriptures say. Let me get this one real quick. It says, Jeremiah 22:13, it says, woe unto them that buildeth a house by unrighteousness, in his chambers by wrong. And this is how Esau's gotten his wealth. He got his wealth by all unrighteousness, man. Because when you really go back to the foundation of this country, all these major financial institutions, all these major, you know, staple companies throughout America and throughout the world, all built off of slave labor. Aetna, the way they got their money was through putting insurance on slaves. So people were paying premiums, you know, to have their insurance on slaves. What is it? Goodyear tires, which got their start here in Arizona. What they would do is go down into South America when the company first started, and they put a lot of those people in the Amazon into slavery so that they can harvest, you know, plant matter to make stronger tires. Right? Wells Fargo, all of these major companies that everybody knows got their start with slavery. So Esau built his house by unrighteousness. It says, it says, in his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. And this is exactly what Esau does, man. He used the Israelites' services without wages and give them not for their work, man. And that's wicked as all hell. So the Lord said, woe to him, meaning destruction. Right? So back in Zechariah 11 and 5, it says whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. And this is exactly Esau's mindset, because when they look at it, they don't look at it as they're just beating down people and taking what they got. They look at it as, hey, their own people don't give a fuck about them. Look at their music. Look at how they treat each other. Hey, when really, in all actuality, what goes on between the Israelites, between themselves, that's a family matter, right? You Edomites have nothing to say on it, but you put yourself in that state, and the Lord is gonna have a real harsh judgment towards you. It says, Let me go to this next precept. This is Revelation 13. Or let me see. What else? Yeah, Revelation 13 and 9. This is Revelation 13 and 9. It says, and if any man have an ear, let him hear. Right? And this is in the book of Revelation. This is in the New Testament. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So this is what the true saints of the Lord are waiting on, which the saints are Israelites. Read that in the book of the Psalms. It says, gather my saints together, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The only people that made a covenant with the Lord through sacrifice were the Israelites. So those are the saints. But he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. In 2021, Jacob's still being put in slavery by you devils. Right? So the time's coming where the Lord is going to lead your ass into captivity under the Israelites. Scriptures tell you that we shall sell your children to the Sabians. Let me get that. It says Joel 3. And Joel 3 and 3, and I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna jump through this a little bit. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and sold a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. It says, yeah, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will you render recompense unto me? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, where I will return your recompense unto your own head. So that Tyre is going into Esau Edom today, man. It said, I'm gonna jump down to 6. It says the children also of Judah and Israel, Salakia. Scratch that comment about Tyre. I'm mixing it up with another one. But it says verse 6, it says the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, going into the northern and southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, going into the so-called Negroes, right? The Negroes, the West Indians, the Haitians, right? Those of the Jamaican islands, those would be considered Judah. And the children of Jerusalem is going into the 10 tribes, which is the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Latinos. It says the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. And who are the Grecians, man? Right? It says that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will rise up against, I will raise them up out of their places, out of the place where ye have sold them, and return your recompense upon your own head. It says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters, right? The Edomites. The Lord is going to sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. Yahweh has spoken it. So the Lord is going to sell you devils into slavery. Just like you put the Israelites into slavery, we've been found in your hand. The Lord is going to put you devils into slavery. And Israel is going to be trading you devils like Pokemon cards, man. This is Jeremiah 30 and 16. It says, I started 15. It says, why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. It says, I have done these things unto thee. So Jake, we go through these things because we sinned against the Heavenly Father. But the day is coming where the Lord says what? It says, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. What is that? Slavery. All our adversaries, everyone that put the Israelites in pure hell, which is really all the nations, because it says in what is that? Psalms the 83rd chapter goes into all the nations that had a secret council to cast the Israelites down. All these nations have had a part in it, man. There's not one kingdom that hasn't had a part in the spoiling of the Israelites, right? You got the so-called Mexicans in Mexico and other people in South America thinking that they got their own country and they're so special, but no. A lot of hey, before you were called Mexicans, Panamanians, Argentinians, you were called Israelites, man. You had your own nation, you had your own language, and what that shit was taken away from you by Edomite Spaniards. It says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. It says, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. You see, the Lord is going to do this. It says, for I will restore health unto thee. See, that's a healthy thing for the Lord to take that reproach of being at the bottom away from us. That's when our healing comes, is when our enemies go into captivity, because there are enemies being freed. Look at what happened to us, man. You know, you got the so-called Latinos, man, just going the fuck off, man. Praying to every goddamn thing they can, even praying it to death. You know, praying to the Virgin Mary, right? Allowing the women to walk over them. The men being extremely effeminate and weak. You know, and at one point in time, Issachar was a strong motherfucker, man. Right? This is a man who was captains and generals in Israel, man. And now look at the state of it now, man. This is why the Lord's gonna come with healing, and he's gonna put us back in that rightful spot, and that's when we put you heathen down, man. As David did. The scriptures tell you that the house of David shall be as God. Right? So it says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, say Yahweh, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. See, because you heathen got above us, and you thought you were hot shit. These are the things that you said, but the Lord said he was going to return with healing and heal our wounds, man. All that pain you caused us, putting us into slavery, even to this day, you devils are going to get it, man. But Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to say, call law, Yahweh, by Shem Shai, by Shemar Karkadash. Shalom.